Hi folks, this is your MWIS planning outlook with the details toward the weekend and further ahead onwards into June. Here's the situation on Wednesday. We've got a generally westerly airflow across the country with low pressure toward the north, high pressure towards the south at this stage. Still some showers in the forecast, those moving from west to east across Scotland, mostly light and well scattered, and some dry and sunny breaks in between, with cloud lifting and breaking up to higher summits. A few showers too for England and Wales, mostly in the morning, will tend to pull away eastwards toward the east of the Pennines through the afternoon hours, with drier and sunnier conditions emerging from the west just as a ridge of higher pressure tends to build in this part of the world. It'll feel rather cool in still quite a fresh westerly breeze across the mountains. Low pressure is developing again toward the southwest, and by Wednesday night that will be sweeping in quickly for further wind and rain. That rain will move quickly across Ireland into western Britain through towards midnight and onwards into the early hours of Thursday. Extensive heavy rain pushing its way north and eastwards. A pretty wet start to Thursday for most places then, with heavy rain and low cloud. The wind will be strengthening too across all areas, reaching gale force across the mountains in areas from central southern Scotland southwards, so from about Loch Lomond National Park, Arran and areas nearest to the central lowlands down through northern England and Wales. The wind speeds 40 or 50 miles per hour with some stronger gusts on higher terrain. Further north across the Highlands, in the centre of the broad area of low pressure, the wind likely to be somewhat lighter, but rain will be around and may stay fairly persistent and at times heavy across north and western parts of Scotland, even onwards into the afternoon. Some breaks in the rain and some lifting of cloud bases developing further east across the Highlands for Thursday afternoon, but not immune from one or two heavier showers being around. The rain also tending to break up across England and Wales, but a rather humid southwesterly airflow will leave drizzle on western windward hills and low cloud still covering many of the hills to quite low elevations nearer to western coasts. Best of any breaks further north and east across Wales, north and east across the Lake District and toward the eastern side of the Pennines. It will stay windy until the end of the day. Bit of an uncertain forecast into Friday still, as we've got a tangle of a front still trying to push its way across the country. A weaker weather system at this time, with, if anything, pressure tending to build somewhat, but still the risk of some areas of patchy rain, maybe a few heavier showers in the forecast. For Scotland, a chance that the cloud bases will tend to lift and break somewhat as the day goes on. Higher tops further westwards, though, more prone to being covered. And for England and Wales, still that humid southwesterly will produce rather drizzly conditions, the risk of some steadier rain still in there at times, and again, low cloud cloaking the hills to lower elevations. Wind speeds somewhat uncertain, the risk at least early in the day of still being strong to gale force southwesterlies, and those winds may stay strong all day across Wales in particular. Looking at the bigger picture as we head onwards into the weekend, and low pressure will be generally out toward the west as we start Saturday. A rather slack pressure pattern over us at this stage. The question really is, how soon does that low to the west make any progress towards us? It's spinning quite slowly over the Atlantic, but the likelihood is that that will tend to encroach nearer as time goes on. So some low cloud still and drizzle across western hills on a Saturday morning could just develop more into some areas of showers or more persistent rain in western parts as the day progresses. Just watch your details here, but I think an idea of deteriorating to strengthening winds and some wetter conditions, at least in the west, as Saturday goes by. That area of low pressure is expected to then just drift slowly eastwards across the country onwards into Sunday. Strong winds in most places for Sunday, it looks like, with some further areas of heavy rain and showers in the forecast, some heavier and possibly thundery showers too as that area of low pressure just moves further through. So it's looking a rather unsettled weekend. If anything, Sunday looks the poorer of the 2 days for many places. Saturday maybe just offers some window for a time before that weather system does move in. Temperatures likely to be a bit cooler by Sunday, still fairly mild and humid on Saturday though. The longer range trend into next week, this is the 7-day pressure anomaly. The blue colours indicate lower than average pressure, the orangey yellow colours higher than average pressure, and we're looking as though we stay on the lower side for rather unsettled conditions coming in on a west by northwesterly flow. So further areas of rain or showers, all too frequent in that extended forecast. Day-to-day detail will be uncertain, but if I just run this sequence through, you'll see the general story with maybe more than one centre of low pressure in charge, but the idea of those swirling around with some further rain and heavy showers and at times strong winds in that forecast. There's no real sign of returning widely to anything like the settled conditions we had in recent weeks, so a rather challenging time again for being on the mountains. Looking further ahead, and the orange colours that exist north of the Azores high is trying to move its way towards us, and that may just then give something more optimistic further onwards. Always difficult in these more changeable, unsettled weather patterns to know exactly when the improvement may take place, but that just is the hint of something improving further into June, the second week of June or so. And higher than average pressure is signalled to be around still onwards through mid-month, so trends towards something improving as we go through the middle of June. Maybe more of a westerly flow later in the month, though, the high getting squeezed a bit, so Scotland at least could just go back to being more changeable. That's a long way off to get the details, but mid-June shows some promise at least. Hope that's useful for thinking ahead. Keep the waterproofs handy in the days forward. That is your planning outlook. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.